In the hustle and bustle of my college life, I found a dangerous escape. So began my journey into a world that seemed at first to be a refuge, but soon became a prison. College was a whirlwind of lectures, assignments, and exams. The pressure was intense, the expectations high. I was a high achiever, always striving for the top, but the relentless pursuit of perfection began to take its toll. In the midst of the relentless stress and academic pressure, I stumbled onto a coping mechanism that seemed harmless at first: masturbation. It was an escape, a quick relief from the constant stress. It provided an instant gratification that the long hours of study and the never-ending assignments could not. For a fleeting moment, I felt a sense of release, a temporary respite from my anxiety-ridden reality. But what started as an occasional indulgence soon spiraled into a daily habit. It became a need, a dependency. I found myself seeking out these moments of escape more and more. It was no longer about stress relief, but about needing that brief moment of satisfaction to make it through the day. As my dependency grew, so did its impact on my life. I started missing lectures, falling behind on assignments. The very thing I had used to cope with the stress of college was now causing me to neglect my responsibilities. My grades began to slip, my academic standing fell, and I could see my future, once so bright and promising, starting to dim. But it wasn't just my academic life that was suffering. I began to isolate myself from my friends and family. Relationships that were once important to me now seemed insignificant. I was in a self-imposed isolation, trapped in a cycle of addiction and regret. I found myself skipping classes, losing interest in my studies, and isolating myself from my friends and family. My life was spiraling out of control, and it was all because of a seemingly harmless coping mechanism. Little did I know, the real struggle was yet to come. I was spiraling, and I didn't even realize it. That's the thing about addiction. It's like being caught in a whirlpool. You're just spinning, and before you know it, you're so deep you can't see the surface anymore. In the beginning, it was just a way to relieve stress. I was an overachiever, always pushing myself to excel academically. But the pressure was immense and I needed an outlet. Little did I know, this outlet would soon turn into my greatest adversary. As the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, my addiction started to consume me. My grades started to slip, not because I wasn't smart enough, but because I was losing interest. I was skipping classes not out of laziness, but because I was too busy feeding my addiction. My world started to shrink until it was just me and my addiction, alone in a silent dance. I remember the day I decided to withdraw from college. It was a day filled with shame and guilt. I was letting down my parents, my teachers, my friends, but most of all, I was letting down myself. I was throwing away my dreams, my future, all for a few moments of fleeting pleasure. It was a dark time for me. I was living in a bubble of self-deception, convincing myself that I was in control when in reality, I was being controlled. I was a puppet, and my addiction was the puppeteer. I was so desperate to hide my addiction that I started to isolate myself, retreating into my own world, a world where I was the only inhabitant. The guilt was unbearable. I was a prisoner in my own mind, trapped by my own actions. Every day was a battle between wanting to break free and giving in to my addiction. I was living in a constant state of fear of being discovered, fear of being judged, fear of being abandoned. I had hit rock bottom and I didn't see a way out. I was lost, alone and scared. But little did I know, this was just the beginning of a long and arduous journey, a journey of self-discovery, a journey of redemption. I knew I had to change, but I didn't know where to start. It was a daunting realization, and the path to recovery felt like a mountain I was ill-prepared to climb. But I knew that I had to take the first step. I reached out and sought help, deciding to confront my addiction head-on. The first challenge was admitting to myself and others that I had a problem. It felt like ripping off a band-aid, exposing a wound that I had tried so hard to keep hidden. But it was a necessary pain, a step towards healing. Therapists became my guides on this journey. They helped me understand the nature of my addiction, the triggers, and how to manage them. They provided me tools to regain control of my life. But therapy wasn't a magic wand. It required work, patience, and a lot of self-reflection. Support groups became my safe haven. There I met others who were fighting similar battles. We shared our stories, our struggles, our victories. It was a community that understood and offered solace. It was in these gatherings that I realized I wasn't alone in my fight. Setbacks were inevitable. There were days when I stumbled, days when the pull of old habits was too strong. But each setback was a lesson, a reminder of the path I didn't want to tread again. They weren't failures, but stepping stones towards my recovery. Slowly but surely, I began rebuilding my life. I started attending classes again, reconnecting with friends, and finding joy in hobbies that I had forgotten in the throes of addiction. I was rediscovering myself, learning to live without the crutches that had once seemed so necessary. Recovery wasn't a destination, but a journey. It was a road paved with challenges, but also victories. From the first daunting step to the countless ones that followed, every stride brought me closer to regaining control of my life. It was a long road, but every step was worth it. And as I continue walking, I know that every step forward is a victory, a testament to the strength I never knew I had. I'm not the same person I was in college. Today, I'm a man who has learned the value of resilience, the power of vulnerability, and the importance of seeking help. I've come to understand that we're all human, and we all have our battles. Mine was an addiction, a silent struggle that nearly consumed me. My life now is a testament to the fact that it's possible to rise from the ashes. I've rebuilt my life, brick by brick, day by day, with a lot of hard work and a commitment to recovery. It hasn't been a smooth journey. There were days when I stumbled, days when I questioned if I could keep going. But with each setback, I reminded myself of the person I was in college and the person I wanted to be. Today, I'm committed to my recovery, not just for myself, but for others as well. I use my experience to help those who might be going through a similar struggle. I've learned that one of the most powerful things we can do is share our stories. It's through these shared experiences that we can break down the walls of stigma and shame that often surround addiction. I've also learned the importance of seeking help. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to reach out, to talk about your struggles. It's through this openness that we can start to heal, that we can start to move forward. I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm proud of the man I've become. It's been a journey of self-discovery, of growth, of resilience, but it's a journey that's far from over. Each day is a new opportunity to learn, to grow, to become a better version of myself. I'm still on this journey, still learning and growing, but I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm not the same person I was in college. I'm a man who's faced his demons and come out stronger. I'm a man who's turned his struggle into a source of strength, a beacon of hope for others, and for that, I'm grateful.